Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with some Naya Depths, and really looking forward to this. I think Naya Depths is a deck that isn't hit too hard by the Orcish Bowmaster printing. We do have a few cards like Sylvan Library, Sylvan Safekeeper, and Dried Arbor that do get affected, but otherwise it doesn't really hit our game plan, which is really nice. So pretty keen to see how it goes in the Lord of the Rings metagame. This list is pretty stock. I mean, there's been a lot of changes between decks, between Prismatic Ending in the main deck or having a Green Sun's target for artifacts or enchantments, whether that's Knight of Autumn or Outland Liberator. And a card I've wanted to try for a while is Wrenn and Realmbreaker, which is pretty cool. It's a 3-mana walker that comes in and allows all your lands to tap for mana, which is really nice when you're playing cards like Thespian Stage, Dark Depths, and Wasteland in a 3-color deck. It also allows you to give a target land you control Hexproof, Vigilance, and Haste, and make it a 3/3 until the following turn, which is pretty sweet. We can also mill 3 cards and put a permanent card from among them into your hand, which is nice at either getting back a Knight or Elvish Reclaimer or turning them on. And then the emblem probably isn't too relevant, but kind of allows us to play things from the graveyard, which is pretty cool. So gonna try that out. Back on the 4 Mox build, I really enjoy the 4 Mox build, especially with Library. And if we can get it out a turn earlier than Elvish Bowmasters, that's also very cool. So we'll see how that goes. And then the sideboard's pretty much just for combo hate for the online meta. So yeah, that's my spiel. But really enjoyed the list I played the other night, which is up on YouTube, which was by Michael Mapson from his performance at SCG Baltimore, which is cool. So looking forward to seeing how the list goes. Because yeah, I think Naya Depths is a deck that is really underrated in power. And I think just because it's not a blue deck, a lot of players don't move towards it when going to a competitive tournament. And yeah, I think is a really strong deck right now. Can combo very quickly as well. I think a lot of people underestimate how fast you can combo against other combo decks if it is just a race. A deck like Elves, typically, I'm just going to try to combo faster than them instead of try to care too much about what's on their board. Here we have a 2-lander that I actually don't mind. We have multiple turn 1 plays in either Green Suns for Dried Arbor, if we might be up against a Wasteland deck, or just play out Reclaimer, and then have Flagstones online turn 2, or if the Reclaimer goes, we have Sylvan Library, so pretty happy to keep this. I think if I was to mulligan this and get the same hand and bottom a Knight, I'd still be very happy with the 6, so pretty happy to go there. Yeah, I did drop the 3rd Wrenn for the 3rd Minsk for the Wrenn just to make room for it, because I kind of feel like they're in a similar slot. But it can just be a little bit hard sometimes to drop a card like Minsk. Obviously, it's pretty fantastic in this deck. But yeah, I didn't want to drop anything else. Obviously, here up against Black-Red Reanimator. Hopefully, throwing a slow start, we do have Crop Rotation off the top. Obviously, Bajuka Bog down the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They did go to 6 cards. I don't know if it's stock. If I was to like give someone a list that was stock, I'd probably go with Michael Mapson's, which is the 3/3 split. 29 lands with 2 forests and a plains. 3 Minsk, I believe. Will it be our Knight tonight? Okay. I actually like the Yav here into Green Suns for Dried Arbor. That also turns on crop rotation just to combo off by getting rid of the Dried Arbor, getting Dark Depths, and having Yavimaya stage and play in Dark Depths to tap for mana. We don't have another good play anyway, so pretty happy just to go with this. But at least it wasn't a turn 1 reanimate. But I assume here what we're going to see is an Entomb, unless they're just trying to thin the deck. Okay. Will be interesting to see what they get. Probably an Archon. Just quite hard for me to interact with. Archon also gains you a card, if not more. Obviously it makes us discard, so you go for Grizzle. Okay. Oh, that's huge. Okay. Here I'm happy just to play out the Knight. So they don't have a Reanimate, they don't have an Ancient, or they don't have an Animate Dead, they don't have an Exhume. Next time we also just have the combo online, which is nice. All access to Bojuka Bog. Another Entomb. Faithless Looting. Okay. To me, that's a great sign for us. So it really comes down to this draw step, because I feel like Entomb for looting means they're trying to draw into something. Okay. They do find a Reanimate. And they have 3 mana to play with. Yeah, I find it quite odd to keep a 6 that doesn't allow you to reanimate until turn 3. If that. Because it looks like they drew the Reanimate off the top. But the Dried Arbor here also quite nice because it does give us some game against Archon. But funnily enough, next turn, if they get Archon into play, they go back up to 7. But if we sack the Dried Arbor, now it becomes a 3/3. Land into sack a land. Into fetch land. I'm trying to see if we can throw the Knight at their face. That would be pretty sweet. Wow, discard, reanimate, and land. Huh. Now they seem like they're in a spot of bother. This is fine. They can take the Minsk. Veteran Explorer in Jund seems very cool. I remember playing a version on the channel that was kind of Nick Fit. Oh wow, okay. Mox. We definitely want to play this. Honestly, I think we're just holding up Caracas and passing. If I Caracas now, there's actually not too much they can get from the yard. So close. Just trying to think if I'm missing something. So they currently have 1 grief, 2 griefs, which aren't really a concern here. If I Caracas this now, I do get to attack for 1, put them to 2. I think I'd rather just play a Knight and hold up Caracas at draw step, or at attack step, sorry, or hold up a Bojuka Bog. You're going to the SCG Con on July 14th? Very nice. I assume it's going to be a pretty sweet tournament. This is kind of cool because you get to sack the flagstones tonight. Nice. They already know about reds, so we might as well get plateau. Very nice. I know some people have been playing around. Oh, where's the Caracas? Oh, there it is. Good. For a second, I was like, wait, what? I have seen some people playing around with Sam, the version of Sam that's like a 2-mana flash. You get to put something in your hand that died this turn and went to the graveyard, which seems really good. I think Jason's been playing around with it. Archon? Okay. So they get back Archon. We sack the Dryad. Discard the Mox. We could have gone for a Lage, but it would have also allowed them to draw 7 cards. But maybe that was just the play. Allow them to draw 7 because Lage is just that good. I can give protection to 1. Actually, I can give... Oh, I can nearly give double protection. Hey, Magrippa, thank you very much for the sub. Too kind. I can use one night to give pro... I don't... Tough spot. Give pro green and then attack, and then I can just sack things to safekeep, which is kind of cool. You'd make the 20/20 when they attack, yeah. Maybe that's the play. Means I can play out the library if I want. I can also make them attack with the, make them block with the Archon, but putting the Archon in their graveyard as well is pretty bad. So I think you're actually just going to play the library, and then we can sack 2 lands, which gives us 2 mana to make the 20/20 in end step. And the ring tempts you. Yes, that's correct. And it's legendary, so you can return it with Caracas as well, which is kind of cool. So we want to sack. I don't think we want to block because we don't want to put it in the graveyard. So I think here we just allow this to happen. This is fine. All right. So let's sack this. Go and get Dark Depths. Sack Caracas. Go and get a forest. And then 1, 2. Copy this. Nice. Oof. Yeah, very lucky that our opponent didn't have a hand that was just a little bit quicker. We have some really nice sideboard cards, especially in the Containment Priest, the Surgicals, the Endurance. I think that's it. And just taking out the Planeswalkers, the Ren. I could see like one Ren coming back, like staying in. Like Reclaimer doesn't do, sorry, the Safekeeper doesn't do a whole lot. The libraries are interesting, but Deafening Silences are a lot better on the play to stop the Dark Ritual starts, but I could see them just doing something a little bit more than the libraries post board. Like even Excavator is a little bit slow. They're probably on show and tell, so like sometimes the blasts are relevant, but I don't mind. Yeah, I probably don't mind the 2 Deafening Silences for 1 library. Like if our opponent keeps another slow start, having a turn 1 Deafening Silence is just really nice. Okay, so we have Surgical and Sorcery Speed Bog. So we do have 2 pieces of interaction plus library, but other than that, it's a little bit slow. It's a tough one to mulligan, but having both of these cards in our hand makes it a bit of a mulligan already. And I don't really like relying just on Surgical. Yeah, I think it's pretty likely these days that a Reanimator player won't go off until they have some sort of Unmask or Grief or Thoughtseize start. So I'm actually pretty happy to mulligan this. And this is better. It has a Deafening Silence. It doesn't have actual interaction, but it does have a really nice plan otherwise. So I actually don't mind keeping this and bottoming the Plains because we have the Flagstones. Opponent keeps 7. Okay. It's nice with this hand as well, in that we get a double spell if they don't take Deafening Silence. By green sunning on turn 1 as well, we just get to turn on a 3-drop on turn 2, even if we don't draw a land. There's also a world where they brought in Wear Tear, and playing the Mox out early isn't great. They take the Reclaimer. Okay. They play out the Lotus Petal because of the Deafening Silence. Okay. Now this is really interesting. What does Deafening Silence really stop? They didn't have Dark Ritual this turn. That's really what I'm worried about. Especially because end step they can Entomb and then untap and just cast 1 spell. So I could see a world where we go Flagstones, Mox, pitch the Yav, because I want to hide the Savannah as a card we drew, and just go for turn 1 Reclaimer. And that way, we have 1 turn where we have everything down, but then if we get to untap, we just have instant speed Bog, which is pretty cool. So I think I'd rather play towards instant speed Bog next turn. Then play Deafening Silence now, which is tough, but I think that's the plan. Could drop a step as well. Obviously, the other Karakas and Bog are both relevant, which is nice. But this really forces them, if they want to go for the graveyard, yeah, perfect for us. So we get to go land, Deafening Silence, and just pass. And if they do nothing, we get to grow out our board with the Flagstones. And if they do something, we have Bojuka Bog. Yeah, I think Silence is a nice like splash damage card where it just does a little bit more than cards in the main deck. Go and get Plateau. And then probably here just getting another Flagstones. Just to keep getting that mana going. Because now we have 2, 3. So if we draw a 3-drop here, we can play the 3-drop and also hold up Elvish Reclaimer again. Okay. At least with Entomb end step into some sort of reanimation spell, we do have Bog to 2-for-1 them. If not 3-for-1 them, if you count the card they grabbed. Reanimate my own Reclaimer. That is more than fine. I don't want a knee-jerk reaction to just the first reanimate spell they cast. And in all honesty, this Reclaimer doesn't have too much value for them. So now we get to go and get Thespian Stage. Comes in tapped. And now we have 2 mana for Reclaimer and 2 mana to combo off with. Green Suns is pretty nice. The question is, do I even need to Green Suns? Because I want to hold up 2 mana for Reclaimer and 2 mana for Stage. We have 1 mana left over. I guess we actually have 2 mana left over here. So I actually don't mind using this for Sylvan Safekeeper. Which we don't have in the deck, that's fine. We can just get another Reclaimer. This does chump up the board a little bit against some sort of Sudden Edict effect or obviously Archon. But even a like Underground Sea into Show and Tell here, I'm not too phased. And they just don't hit. So yeah, a little bit of patience in this game, which you don't often get the time to play with against Reanimator, but obviously always nice to take one. I think honestly in both those games we were quite lucky that our opponent just didn't have those really good Reanimator starts. It's kind of a hand of like a pretty interesting one. They did not mulligan on in game 2, no. I'm not a big fan of this hand. It's got a little bit too much of different things going on that doesn't really have like a straightforward plan, so pretty happy to mulligan towards something like this. Turn 1 removal, turn 2 library, turn 3 knight into Minskimbu with prismatic backup. The question is, what do you drop? It's a good Twitter question. Chat, what do you think? What would you drop here? Do you think the Minsk is just too far on that you'd rather keep the low sort of early game cards here? Yeah, I think it's Minsk as well. I think it's a little bit greedy keeping the Minsk. Now the big question is, do we want to lead on the fetch land or just the flagstones? I'm probably happy leading on the flagstones. Opponent's gone to 5 cards. My reasoning for flagstones is that it can't really be wastelanded. It allows us to hold up swords. And if we draw another land that produces green that isn't a fetch land, we get to keep the fetch in case there's just, say, 3 lands on top of the library that we don't really want to use our 4 life for. Opponent goes to 4 cards. Alright. Again, probably Reanimator, but you never know. Underground Sea. More so thinking Doomsday at this point. Careful Study, okay. Traxa? Alright. There is a world where... Where's that gone? Yeah, I think what I should have done here is respond with swords in response to what they grab, because obviously now they can daze my swords, which totally breaks up what we want to do. So that's a pretty big misplay. And honestly, it was kind of just like, yeah, 6, of course, but should have definitely thought about Force of Will, Daze. But we'll see if they take the Daze or the Dark Ritual. Because it kind of does similar things. It protects the Atraxa in a way that Daze stops Sword Splashes, but you can just Ritual into something else. They chose Animate Dead. Lotus Petal. So they're going to cast this. They didn't choose to keep the Daze. Unmask, pitch, animate dead. See, this is a much better start from Reanimator, especially on a 4. Yeah, this was a 4. Pretty nuts. But that's the power of the deck. And I think although it's a 4, it's all about the card quality you want, or the card quantity. So with a 4, you could easily have, like, especially after all the looks, land, Dark Ritual, Entomb, Exhume, or Reanimate, or something else. Hey Shen, we beat Black Red Reanimator. Crop Rotation, a really good pickup here, especially with the flagstones in play. Minsk, not so much. We will go for the Taiga. And I'm going to say this is 90%, if not 95% loss, so we might as well play it out. See what else is in our opponent's deck. There is a world where getting a white source is better in case we draw double swords. I would hate to be stifled on my mana to not be able to double spell like that. They did have a slow start. Yeah, they kept us 6 in the first game that didn't reanimate until turn 3-ish. And then game 2, we were able to land a turn 1 Elvish Reclaimer on the draw, and they didn't go off the following turn. So we kind of got to just hold up a Jugabog, and if they didn't go for it, we just got to go for the combo. Archon. Prismatic Ending, a pretty easy cut here. Oh, so close to like Minsk Throw. I guess they go back up to 6, so it kind of has to be like Swords to Plowshares and Caracas, or like Crop Rotation and Swords here. That's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. Tough. These, because they're on the blue splash, I'm happy to bring in these. 10's a lot, but we do have a few cards to cut. Probably something like this. Hey Echo, welcome. Hope you're well. There's probably other things I'd rather do than choke, and it's really hard to cut something like a knight or an endurance another 3-drop for a card like choke. Even though they are playing islands, hitting their mana in that kind of... I'd rather try to win the game than try to not lose the game, I guess. By playing something like Knight to go for the combo, or Endurance to keep beatdowns going. But sadly, choke can just be a little bit too slow. Yeah. And there will be a lot of games post-board against the sort of 3 or 4 color versions of Reanimator where they just won't have an island and will just run off things like Duck Ritz and Lotus Petals for blue and Badlands and Swamps. I think Reb is just a little bit better than any card we have otherwise. Like a little bit faster. No mana. This is a turn 2 combo. Turn 1 Green Sun's Dried Arbor, turn 2 just try to go off, but not great otherwise. Okay. Better. What is this, a turn 1 Knight? If we just kept these 5? It's pretty hard to put back double swords though. They mulligan to 6 cards. But to be fair, we obviously know that they're a player that's going to mulligan to just a turn 1 to reanimate. And turn 1 Knight doesn't beat Archon. There could actually be a 4 that's just a little bit better. Even like 2 lands, Deafening Silence, and some sort of free spell, like Surgical. Yeah, sorry. Obviously it's a turn 2 Knight. For some reason I thought we could double Mox, but we only have 1 Mox. We could do something like hold up Windswept Heath for Dried Arbor and Mox Diamond for Swords. And then the following turn play Knight. But that's 2 turns without Graveyard Hate, which is pretty brutal, so. Okay, here we are. Keep this. Bottom the Knight. I probably don't mind. Caracas is a tough one. It does hit Atraxa and Grizzle. So I could see a world where we bottom the Wasteland and then bottom the Swords. And then shuffle the deck, get a Savannah, and then play the Deafening Silence. A little bit tough because this kind of wants to get a Taiga in case we draw into a Red Blast. I guess we don't have to play the shuffle on turn 1. As odd as it is, I think it is the Swords. Disruption, pressure, mana. That's what I kind of need on a 4. The only tough part about playing the Caracas is it obviously gives them information about what to search for. But if we play the Windswept, get a Savannah, play the Deafening Silence, and don't draw a land next turn, we're still playing the Caracas. And if they do have a slow hand with the Deafening Silence, they're probably end step entombing, which means that they're going to see the Caracas at the end of our turn anyway. So I think we do just play the Caracas and then go for Deafening Silence. Sauron? Wow. Damn. Okay. This... pretty cool. So I guess now we just need to draw into crop rotation, surgical, Paducah Bog. We can't play both, so we're just going to pass here, but like I don't think we can beat this because the ward means we have to sacrifice Maritlage. It's like the only way. There's Reanimate. We get to fetch. Now it's actually a little bit of a tough one. Because the question is, do I want to get rid of the Caracas? Or... Huh. Yeah, I think we have to go for Savannah here. And then get rid of the Caracas. Which we can get back with Endurance. But hopefully, the pressure on the board is enough. Heflo, thank you. A huge thank you. Hope you're enjoying it. There's the blast. Okay. Man, maybe I should have got a... Oh, I wonder if they'll subtlety this. Just to buy some time. I could see that, especially with Swamp. Unless they have another land. Yeah. Oh, okay, so they're keeping the Ponder. Do I want this? I probably do. I think if I drew into a Reclaimer, I'd be pretty happy, so I'm pretty happy to top this. I believe this is a creature spell, so they can't do it is a creature as well, so they can play it through Deafening Silence, but they can't hit crop rotation because it's a non-creature spell. Okay. Ooh, okay. Nice. All right. Ooh, okay. I think he was attacking for one, right? And then just putting Containment Priest. It's a pretty fantastic draw. Containment Priest, I think, is very nuts. Hey, man. Welcome. Hope you're well. I guess there is a world where you don't show the Containment Priest. You just leave the Reclaimer up. But I don't think we're in a situation where we've... Oh, yes. Okay. This is why you keep it up. Nice. Yeah, I don't think we're in a situation where it's good enough to... Yeah. Just try to rely on the Reclaimer itself. The blasts are probably the cards that I'm not sold on, but they are pretty good. What do we see? We saw Subtlety, we saw Ponder, we saw Daze in game one. Obviously, Atraxa is like, it is an out, I guess. We didn't really see a whole lot. I guess, yeah, there's nothing that I really care. Minsk does make a legendary creature. Look, if we want to go for the bingo card, we'll put Minsk in there to see if we can get rid of a Sauron by... Who would have thought a hamster takes out... okay, this is a hand. No green mana, which a lot of the time can be a trap, especially with leyline hands. But I think this hand just has so much going for it that I'm pretty happy to keep this. We also have things to do. Turn 1 swords, turn 2 Containment Priest, potentially if we get another land. So pretty happy to see where this hand goes. Very true, HC Box. We are keeping this. Monk's Diamond off the top would be a great draw as well. Oh, I guess they could still have days or some sort of force effect, but it is very cool to see a lot of Lord of the Rings cards make it into Legacy. Oh, they have Sauron again. Oof, okay. We're definitely just going after this now. Oof, okay. Wow, they have 3 in the deck. So they have 4 forces, 2 careful studies, ponders, subtleties. Animate Dead, careful study, Bloodstained Mire. So we get a lot of time, which is nice. We've hit everything, so now we can click OK. Yeah, 0 days on the play is very interesting. Okay. Oh, I guess if they reanimate this with their Animate Dead, then there's a world where they can turn off our Green Suns, but we'll see how that goes. Happy just to play the Flagstones here. Okay. Animate Dead. Bloodstained Mire. Okay, so they have 3 unknown cards. Now we're looking for a green source. That's a green source. But now we're kind of in a weird spot where I kind of just have to pass back. They have 2 cards. We could also be a little bit greedy here in Green Suns for Elvish Reclaimer. Which I don't mind. Again, like game 1, just that case of like make them have it. Yeah. Okay. There's a Grizzle. Oof. Alright. Maybe greedy. My kind of thought process is if we hold up Crop and Swords and don't draw a land next turn, we just have to time walk ourselves again. And every time we don't Green Suns for a Reclaimer, it just makes it a little bit harder to do that. Yeah, they have to. Oh, they must have another one, or else they would take the Crop because then Reclaimer just nearly gets there. Oh, because what if we draw a land here crop for Caracas. They must have found force. Tough. We do not have a second step, no. I believe we cited it out. Yes. It has to be Archon. Atraxa doesn't gain life on ETB, and we have the Caracas. But yeah, comes back to one play. Animate dead on our Containment Priest. Okay, that's fine. Wow, that's their play? They just got Archon? Okay, that's pretty sweet. They can't force because of these. So we... Let's try to make sure there's no fillers here. Hey, Jittery. I believe we attack. They have to block with the Containment Priest. There's no way currently to turn that off. I guess the other line... Yeah, the other line is potentially not attacking. Oh, no, because I can't get... I was going to get Dried Arbor, but I can't get Dried Arbor through the Containment Priest. I think we want Containment Priest dead because we do have the Endurance for the Graveyard. Yeah. It also gets worse if they play a Grief and then can double block as well. You'd Endurance first? Maybe I'll still Endurance. Ah, because of Subtlety? Nice. I think I'll also... Oh, we didn't see Daze, correct? So I don't have to play around Daze, which is nice. Yes. Ah, but then I tap off the Caracas, so I actually just have to pitch the Daze. Oh, wait, but doesn't that also stop the Endurance? Yeah, so actually... If would... Yeah, Exile... Oh, no, I'm casting it. Evoke is casting? Yeah, I think we're all sweet. All good, man. All good, man. There's no stifles, so we can just pass. There's no stifles, right? There's no stifles, right? No, cool. Why couldn't we crop? They forced it. They forced the crop rotation. So then we use the mana to go and get crop off the Reclaimer, which comes in tapped. All good. Animate Reanimate dead. Endurance. Oh. They do still have 8 cards, which is a little bit scary. Animate dead on endurance. Okay. Do they want to give us back a crop, a containment priest, a swords, and a surgical? And a step? I don't think so, but they have a 2. Oh, they don't. Okay. They're also getting close to just hard casting Archon, which is pretty sad. Honestly, here I think. Is there any reason to bog myself? We are going to go for Dryad Arbor because it's a second attacker. I think I will not play the bog because it also gives away the information that we don't have bog in the deck. I'd rather just make my opponent think this Reclaimer can still have access to Bojuka Bog at instant speed. And a card in our hand is hidden, which is really nice as well. This could be it. Blast? Oh! We did take out Safekeeper, yes. Oh my gosh. I think we still hold, but it's tough. There's definitely a world where playing the bog is good because it gives us a mana untapped, which is Karakas plus 2 mana for a Reclaimer if needed. Reanimate Dryad Arbor. Okay. They go back to 1. Mox. I think here we do play I think we play Bog and then just turn it into a Wasteland so they can't double block. But I can just do that with this Karakas, but I don't lose the Karakas. But I feel like with 6 cards in hand, they're just not going for some sort of reanimate spell because they think we have Bojuka Bog. But we'll see. This game is pretty cool, yeah. I've really enjoyed it. Let's have a quick check. They do have no Archons exiled. And they do only have one, correct. Got Endurance, correct. Oof. Master would be pretty cool here. That's very true. Would have been pretty good. They chose not to shuffle. Okay. Yeah, let's just go for a Wasteland. Floating a green. I'll play the planes because it's better with the reclaims, of course. There's no great attacks here either, so... Now we can just try to go for the combo. Atraxa. Just gonna get flagstones here. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, flagstones. Interesting. It doesn't do a whole lot. It could, yeah, it could just be the endurance. That's very true. They then go to 3 and they have to block. Oh, hardcast force? Okay. You got that. No step. Steps in the bin and one's in the sideboard. The one small thing is that I don't actually think I have another planes for the flagstones. Chose to not shuffle. Exhume. What happens if we bring back Containment Priest? No, they come in at the same time. Containment Priest is still quite good. This is obviously what they just saw. Which a lot of it is turned off by the Containment Priest, which is nice. So end step we get to use Reclaimer and then untap and still have Caracas open for the Atraxa. I think that's much better than just, yeah, not having it, I guess. Alright, so they choose Lotus Petal, Subtlety, Atraxa? Huh? Exhume, Atraxa, Entomb, and... oh, no. They chose Polluted Delta. Grand Unifier. Grand Unifier. Unmask is fine. Interesting. This does nothing. Yeah, what are you doing? I think we sacked the last planes, the only planes. Oh, we do. So good. Let's go and get stage. There's no great attack, so I don't need to Caracas yet. Just gonna get rid of the foothills, get depths. I will play this and then just pass. The endurance can still block, but there's a world where it just goes. Chose to shuffle. Wow. Nice. That's probably the funnest game I've ever had against Reanimator. And mainly just because it was more than 2 or 3 turns. That was a very cool game. And it's actually a great representation of how one small choice can snowball. Because what was it, turn 2 or 3 where we chose to tap 2 mana, 2 green suns for Reclaimer instead of holding up swords and crop, and they got to bring back Grizzlebrand and draw a couple cards. So yeah, very cool to recover from that. I'm gonna quickly go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a second. A great time to follow the channel if you aren't already, and of course on YouTube and Twitter. I'll be back in a second. Nice. I think the biggest play in that match was the Exhume, because although it did give them the Atraxa and the look at 10 cards, it also got us Containment Priest, which I think turned off pretty much all of those 10. So I think the question for my opponent would be, what are you looking for? That, I guess what they're looking for is potentially just the Archon to hardcast. I assume that was kind of their out to getting there. Because if we look at their deck, I think it really had to be getting this Archon into hand and then casting it. This is a 1-lander with Green Suns, which I'm not a big fan of. I really like just hitting my land drops with this deck, so pretty happy to mulligan this. This is much better. I'm probably happy to bottom a Knight. It is still a 2-lander, but we'll see. Hey Lawrence, always nice to see you in chat. I'm gonna keep 7. Painter. Okay. We have a pretty good hand against Painter. What is Tower of the Magistrate against? Defense, I would say it's against Kaldra and other equipment matchups where you can remove the token. You can also play it against Cephalid Breakfast to stop them from comboing with Shuko. And then it's also against decks like 8cast to get through the 1/1 Thopters, which are colorless. Baleful Strix, which is an artifact. Pesky blockers like that. Tower's quite good against. Also, sometimes you can just fog a construct attack. You can also give a construct protection from Shadow Spear, which is kind of cool. But I would say the main thing is Kaldra to stop them from having that. And also the Thopter tokens from 8cast. It's just a nice way to not really care about them going wide when you can just go through them. It actually saw play in Maverick a little while ago. Okay. I'm going to respond to the first thing they do. I'm not going to swords here. If we draw a land, it's quite good for us. Yeah. I did test Trailblazer's Torch in a green-white version of Maverick with a pretty strong Stoneforge Mystic package of like 4 Stoneforge and 4 equipment. I think I'm happy to... I don't just want to throw myself into a blast. And I want to hold the sword. Like, I could Prismatic Ending this, and then they blast in response, and then we swords in response. But then we're 2-for-1ing ourselves. We are trading 2 for 2, I guess. My other thought is playing Safekeeper to see if they want to blast Reclaimer in response. So I don't mind going for Safekeeper. Okay. Now I'm happy just to hold up the Reclaimer. Hold up sword. They have 4 cards left. I can't tap out here. Maybe the 2 for 2 is just what I should have done. Because now they get to hold up Great Furnace as well. Yeah. Tough. That's definitely on me. Maybe just being a bit too greedy. I like the forces. I like the oof. That's probably it. I don't mind cutting down on a card like Ren, although, yeah, Ren's just a little bit too slow. Caracas doesn't have any great targets. I don't think blasts, because I want to be dealing with the painters before blasts are effective, and there's times where they name a different color as well and make those pretty ineffective. Minsk I think is okay, but they are a bolt deck, so I could see just like 2 endurances over that. Also being able to interact with actual goblins is pretty nice. And just like hold up interaction, and then if they don't have it, we get to prismatic the following turn. Happy to keep this. All I'm going to do here is turn 1 Reclaimer off a Savannah. There's no point playing out the Mox because we can't grow it to a 3/4 and get it out of bolt range. All right. Okay. I don't mind Wasteland here. We also have Crop for Wasteland if they want a Saga. Hey Lucky, welcome. Hope you're well. This is fine. Okay. So the Mox doesn't yet tap for mana, which is good for us. Nice. Let's fetch for Forest. And prismatic ending this. Mox, pitch this, pass. This way we get to hold up Crop if we really want to. And then potentially next turn Green Suns. Nothing. Okay, that's great for us. Reclaim is a 3/4. I could Crop here for Wasteland, but I'd rather keep it just for Saga. Or potentially... That's fine. A colored Thors. Knight's a fantastic draw. Also mean we get to go beat down. Hey Evan, too kind for the Prime sub. A huge thank you. I always enjoy your content when I'm working in the background. So a big thank you for streaming when I work. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying some of the testing you're doing with D&T. I guess we also have Green Suns for Collect Oof, which I thought, yeah, I totally forgot about Collect Oof. I apologize for that. Okay, well, now we're just, yeah. Attack for... Yeah, we have lethal. There we go. Very nice. I'm not a fan of blasts against Painter, but I can see where people are coming from. I think I'd rather just go back with what we have. My only thought is Surgical, but I think I'd rather just deal with the Graveyard with Endurance and deal with the Goblins with Removal than have a card like Surgical. Which is nice. Like, there is definitely... oh yeah, we have to drop one more. I think it's just going to be a Safekeeper. Yeah. Especially with Fury in the deck, most likely. Yeah, I think I'm happy just throwing this back. There is a world where I don't mind a Minsk over something. Like, if they don't have the Bolt, then it gets out of Bolt range very quickly. Could just be one Endurance. Yeah, I don't mind one Endurance. I think 2 with the Crops and Reclaimers for Bogs, etc. is more than fine. But like 3 lands, 2 pieces of removal spells, 2 creatures would be a pretty perfect hand here. This is pretty close. 3 lands, 3 creatures, 1 removal, but no white mana. And Dried Arbor's a little bit iffy here, so... Hey Sahar, welcome. Oh, this is a really nice hand. Happy to keep this. Probably bottom the Plateau. And then we have Taiga for Reclaimer, hold up Force of Vigor, turn 2 Flagstones, 1 piece of the combo win stage. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely keep Magus in mind, which luckily we do have the Reclaimer for currently. Bolt's fine. Okay. Green Suns would be pretty sweet. Oh, Wasteland. Honestly, in this spot, I'm probably happier to try to get Endurance just online. And I think there are better targets for Wasteland than Badlands. One thing I don't want to do is Wasteland a artifact land while the Welder is in play, because that's just probably going to lead to a bad moment like Great Furnace. Ooh, okay. So now they kind of have Painter at instant speed. Unless they get something bigger. Wow, that's huge. We don't have access to double green here, unfortunately. We could potentially, if we play a Flagstones and go and get a Savannah tapped, but that doesn't feel great. Honestly, I think I just swords this instead of trying to sword the goblins. So maybe I am happy with just playing a Flagstones. I guess I could also play the stage and then copy a Flagstones, lose one, and then go and get Savannah with that as well. I don't mind that. Stage also just copies the Taiga. There we go. Do I have any experience of pre-modern? I don't, but I hopefully will one day. Oh, we do want to swords the Phyrexian here, so... think we just allow them to draw 3 if they want to discard. Fury Orcish Bowmasters. Hmm. This is fine. Like, if we draw a green source here, we just have Endurance them and they have 1 card in hand with nothing else. Here we go. Big draw step. Honestly, here I'm happy to wasteland the Ancient Tomb. And then play the Knight. That also gives us access to a green source next turn. Okay, 1 card left for them. Wow, nothing, okay. It's a fantastic draw. Okay. I don't mind going for Endurance now. And then in response to Welder, Bog. Because then they're on 0 cards. And I'd rather just exile these cards and put them back into the deck. So let's go... Tap. Tap, tap. Cast this. Oh. Huh. I didn't expect that, but okay. That works too. I guess they can't really get rid of that, so that's great for us. We do get to ramp here, which is nice. Yikes. It's a pretty good draw. They probably get Wasteland. Okay. It's a really good draw because now they can... Oh. So if I use the Force on these two, they can just sack this for mana, put it in the graveyard, and then use Welder to welder it back for the Needle and just save them. So there's actually no real point of using the Force here. This is the School Night for me, correct? I think what I... Oh, no, I can't. All good. It's pretty good. Red, green, white. Right, now we still have Force up. We still have Knight up. They have one card in hand. They play a Grindstone. That's going to be fine. Surely the last card isn't another opposition agent. They've had, what, 3 draws? Good. It's honestly just Depths here. And then we get to hold up the free activation of Force. Plus some. I also have Floater Mana and sack a land for Yavimaya to have mana just for Force and also Depths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, they played the land. Huh. No. Apologies, team. That's on me. That's on me. I meant to obviously Force first. I just totally forgot about the Needle there. Let's go for Yav. All right. I guess now that we have Crop up, we can attack with both. Now they have to block. Sorry, team. That was really stupid. 1, 2, 3, and 1 left over. Yeah. I guess we could also hold up Force, Pitch, and Crop. I don't mind that. Probably being a little bit safe. There's probably no sort of bounce effect from them to worry about. They're going to Grindstone themselves. That is fine because we do have Crop for Bojuka Bog. Fury, Shieldred, Edict, Fable. They did find 0 artifacts, yes. So one little thing I want to play around is obviously, like, I guess they can kind of sack the pedal or grindstone themselves to put the Needle in the bin with one and then get it back with the other before we get to use the stage. Maybe not. So let's go force targeting these two. So now they kind of have to grindstone themselves to put an artifact into the bin. Because here if they put Petal there, they could switch. I guess they could switch them, but then we get priority to go off. So if they grindstone themselves, find... No, it doesn't work either. It nearly has to be grindstone for like if they're playing Ensnaring Bridge and then have that as interaction. Because Bridge we can beat with Crop for Bog. But they do also have mana left over. Yeah, so they have I guess they have 3 activations because red, and then free. So what do they hit? Nothing. Okay. So those go, and then straight away we use this. Nice. We could have an edict, but it would have to be a pretty good one. Like run afoul, maybe off the Lotus Petal, but otherwise, luckily got there. But yeah, a slight mishap definitely there with just taking an ice counter off the Dark Depths instead of using the Force of Vigor first. All right. Non-token creature. Yes, that's very true. Sadly, here we have the Mox start with the library, but only 1 land. So pretty happy to mulligan this. Mox. But again, the mana is just a little bit rough here. I'm not a big fan. I think we're going to go to 5. Because Sheoldred's Edict is like like token creature. Yeah. Really, deck? Okay. Yeah, that like we'll go to 4. Okay. I guess we'll go to 3. Oh my gosh. Just give me a forest. All right. I guess. Definitely a Green Suns. I think we're playing the Arbor. Although I could see us just keeping these 3. Like, that does a fair bit. Maybe it is, like, just keep the cards that we can either play or cast. Right. We can do this. We can do this. Polluted Delta. Okay. Okay, that's a card. Bauble. Okay. Well, at least we know what we're up against. Rug Delver. Okay. It's a pretty good target. Ooh. Pretty happy to pass here and see if my opponent might try to wasteland the stage, which we can respond to by copying the planes. Please. We need a little win here. They're just going to pass. Yeah, I think if they do it upkeep. I think in response, I'm happy to copy. Yeah, just give me access to green. Keep this one. Okay. I'm actually happy here to build out instead of going for a claimer. Both die to bolt anyway. Okay. This makes me think they have another wasteland. Or they're trying to get a Murktide online. Maybe? Thankfully, there's already an artifact in the bin, so this would only take it to a 3. This would only take it to 3 in the bin. Creature, land, artifact. Instant. Tough. On the play, I like these 6. And I don't mind taking out probably these 6. I don't mind Crackers just for mana. Library's not too bad once you bring in more removal, but I do like just more creatures. Obviously the blasts are a nice quick way to deal with Murktide. Potentially save a creature on the stack. I was thinking of Path tonight, but I declined and went for just more combo heavy stuff, especially having the 2 prismatic endings in the main deck. But we'll see how that fares. All right. Okay. I guess we keep. And I think what we're going to try to do is crop into potentially. We're definitely keeping, but it might be the second crop we drop. I really want the Ramanap as a way to kind of get back from the mulligan. 2 crop is nice though. One for Jukabog and then one to try to ramp or potentially act in response to a Wasteland. It's also just the combo, potentially, off Yavimaya. I think it might just be Knight. I don't really like having 2 3-drops in a 6 against a deck that can quite easily... They've gone to 5. Yeah, I do like having early interaction. Okay. The question is, on a 5, am I really going to be like red elemental blasting a Ponder? I don't think so. I think I'd rather just leave it for the threats. Because we don't have a hand that can really go after their mana in a meaningful way other than crop for Wasteland. Yeah. Definitely interesting. But... like, usually here, if we fight in the early game, then that just makes a Murktide a little bit easier for them to cast in the mid to late game, which obviously the red elemental blast is great for. We could go for a Plateau. Blast this. No, because I don't want to lose the Plateau. Oh, maybe. I think we just allow this. I think I'd rather just play to the board and use the blast as removal. Because I don't think we're set up in a way where we can just aggressively Wasteland them. Chose to not shuffle. A third land here would be great. I actually wouldn't mind a third land. Dried Up is perfect as well because if we fetch first for a Taiga, we can then hold up Red Blast. But I also might not want to crop away the Taiga in case it gets Wastelanded. No, but the Taiga actually allows us to crop away the Dried Arbor if we want. So yeah, I think we just go Taiga into Dried Arbor, pass, which allows us to hold up either Red Blast or crop. Nothing just yet that I really want to Red Blast anyway. Like, this is fine. Wow, they pitched a Murktide. That's pretty sweet. I'm happy not to attack here. Just pass with crop and blast up again. That kind of makes me feel like they have fetch into Murktide if they're already getting rid of one. But it could just be Goyf. Okay, it's just going to be Goyf. That's pretty sweet. Reclaimer is also a 3/4. Wow, they're going to force this, going down to 0 cards. Now I'm very happy to use this red elemental blast, getting a plateau, which turns on all our colors. No red mana either, so I don't have to worry about Bolt, which is really nice. Ponder only draws 1 card, so they can't draw both Bolt and a red card, but they could draw Mishra's Bauble, which would give them Artifact. There's no good attack here, right? Surely. Yeah. Good. Oh, okay. Here I'm actually happy to start with Ramanap. Taste. This is fine. Days in a Murktide. Yikes. I think here we're just going to hold up sack Arbor as a blocker and go and get a Flagstones. Huh. Interesting. I mean, we could also just get Stage here and then potentially combo off next turn. I don't mind that. They're also on 0 cards, so... not worth it in my eyes. Especially drawing 1 card this turn and potentially revealing it as well to Delver. No reveal. I guess if it's Brazen Borrower, that's a little bit tough. If it's Wasteland, I don't really care. So happy to do it here. We have so many good plays around that. Yeah, they're down to 0 cards, so we just get to crop here. I think because we have the Endurance as well, that we don't have to worry about the Wasteland. Like, if they play the Wasteland and attack, we get to Endurance potentially them. I guess us, take away instant and then block the Goyf, which is pretty good. Not really changing anything on the draw. But on the draw, I do want to have a hand with 2 pieces of interaction. And obviously a tight mana base. Look, this does have like a Wasteland into Mox hand with Choke as well. So the issue with this hand on the draw is that Delver against Depths is very good at just getting out like turn 1 DRC, turn 2 Delver, or turn 2 Goyf. And the Choke there like just feels quite bad because you're so far behind. But the Reclaimer makes it feel a little bit better. But it makes me feel like I want to go Wasteland them, Mox, pitch Forest, or pitch the Dark Depths, play the Reclaimer as a 3/4 to make sure it doesn't get bolted. So we'll see how that goes. Hey Spyman, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Opponent kept 7 as well. Oh, but just passes. Well, that changes things a little bit if we draw into like a Green Suns. Oh, another Reclaimer. Huh. Could try to double Reclaimer here. Could also try to lead with a Mox and see if they daze it. But I do want the mana from this, so... This makes me think they have Bolt or turn 2 Goyf. Maybe even End Step Brainstorm, turn 2 Goyf. So I don't want to throw these Reclaimers into a Bolt, so I'm actually happy to go Forest Pass. We haven't seen Stifle from them, but it is a card that I wouldn't be too surprised to not see. Okay. So here's the Goyf. Oh, a library. We do have prismatic ending for that, which is nice. But library is obviously very good against our wasteland plan. I think what we want to do is Mox pitch a land, that's 1. Wasteland them, that's 2. Wooded Foothills is 1. Wasteland is 2. There is a world where we could wasteland ourselves. No, because we need to get 2 lands in the bin. I actually don't mind wasteland on wasteland. Huh. Yeah, I think I would still hit the trop even though we have the choke as well. And then, yeah, go for both Reclaimers here. So that even if they do have 1 bolt, they lose the other. And I think I'm happy to get rid of Adepts. Even if they have something like Surgical and Depths, we do have 2 Reclaimers to try to win this with. Wastelanding first also turns off Daze from their side. But what would be really tough, and disregard the pun, would be Rough Tumble, which does see play in the sideboard of Rug Tumble from time to time. I expect him to at least pay for 1 card here, just to replace the library. Yeah. Oh, Trop. Okay. Okay. Well, now we get the chance to make these 3/4s, which is really nice. Oh, and another Mox. That means we could play the choke around Daze. That's pretty huge. I think that's what we do. We play Wasteland. We play the Mox, pitching the Wooded Foothills, which still makes this a 3/4. And then they could Daze the Trop here. But I think I'm okay with that if the choke then resolves. This way they lose at least 1 mana. I guess I could have attacked first so that if they force this, then the Goyf doesn't get bigger. And I think that's actually just correct to do. They are going to Daze. Oh, we can still attack. That's a huge win. I guess Brazen Borrower Bounce is just one way to deal with it. But they are at 8. I could also see them wastelanding the Wasteland if they want to stop double activation next turn off the Reclaimer. Even another Goyf here isn't an issue either, because we just have Sejiri Step if needed. Also Bojuka Bog. Yeah, this is fine. Ooh. Okay. Honestly happy to attack first with 1 and see what they do. Because if they double block, we can Reclaimer for Bojuka Bog to make these 1/2s. Okay. I think here we're just going to Green Suns for another Reclaimer and hold up Bajuka Bog. I could also Wasteland the Wasteland. That's pretty good. I don't mind Wasteland the Wasteland. Yeah. This is this is 2023 in a nutshell. Hey Jeff, very cool to see you from Twitter. Oof. Yeah. Reclaimer is just such a strong card. Very happy. Very cool to get full value tonight as well, other than the first match where our opponent just drew pretty poorly. Really nice to get all the 2-1s in. Thanks, Punishing. Big fan. But yeah, deck's been pretty nice tonight. I've been really enjoying it, which is cool. Nice, nice, nice. Haven't missed, like, we haven't seen Ren. That's gonna happen. It's a non-green zenithable, non-tutorable land, non-land creature, planeswalker. Yeah, that's always the tough part. I would actually love to try a version with a Bayou and a Grist as Green Sun Zenithable removal, but once Morlock is online, I wouldn't mind having like one main, maybe one side. The day will come. The day will come. But yeah, it's been an interesting night. It's been Reanimator, Painter, Rug Delver. Which is pretty cool. Nice to be streaming as well. Have some new content on YouTube, which is Maverick with Orcish Bowmaster, which is really cool. Card was pretty strong. It had its moments. Obviously, you can tutor for it through Fiend Artisan as like a way to get it through Green Sun Zenith, but it's really nice value to have for Maverick. Especially a card that can deal with something like Ice Fang or Baleful Strix that has already replaced itself on ETB. To be able to remove it and then create 2 threats that your opponent might have to spend 2 spells on is really nice. And even little things like Teferi Bounce is still going to die to the other 1/1, no matter what they hit, which is cool. Usually the Bowmaster, I guess, because if they left the Bowmaster, they would just kill the Teferi when they drew a card. Yeah, it's been sweet. I really liked, there was actually a line at the NRG series of a Death Shadow player targeting themselves in end step with Orcish Bowmasters to swing for lethal with 2 Death Shadows, because instead of attacking their opponent or dealing the 1 damage to their opponent, they could deal the 1 to themselves, which would buff both Death Shadows by 1, which would ultimately deal 2 to their opponent, which was the difference between lethal. Didn't matter, but a really cool pickup by, I believe, Mason, who was streaming at the time. But yeah, really cool to see some cards make their way into Legacy. I definitely want to have a look at the 2-mana Frodo. It's a green sun zenithable way to get the ring, or get inspired by the ring. What is it? The ring. It does something to you. I think it's Frodo. Let me have a quick look. This one. Frodo Baggins. Whenever Frodo Baggins or another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, the ring tempts you. As long as Frodo is your ring bearer, it must be blocked if able. Kind of cool as a 2-mana Green Sun's target. It's a 1/3, which is kind of nice. Legendary creature, so you can Caracas it. We also play legendary creatures like Thalia, sometimes Questing Beast, sometimes Gaddock Teeg, so that could definitely trigger a bit. It really just depends on how good the ring is, which I think it's pretty good. Temps, there we go. Thank you, Ben. All right, Pep. Look, it is a hand of spells and lands, but just doesn't really do anything in the early game, which is part of the game that I really want to own. So pretty happy to mulligan this. Better, it is a turn 1 library, which is quite nice. Bottoming 1 Mox. I think the Samwise is really strong, and I really like that we're seeing a few different decks play around with it. Oh god. Oh god. We do get to hit this with Prismatic Ending, which is so sick. So, land, obviously colored mana, Mox, Stage. Whew, that was close. But it's definitely not over yet. Oh. Oh. I will play this because it is just one more land to Minsk and Boo, which is nice. The question is, can I go down? So I believe this deck will be winning either through Tendrils or Gutshot, most likely Tendrils through Burning Wish. I do want to go for Minsk and Boo here. The question is, do I want access to both Swords and Knight? The only creature that I can think of that they typically run is Burgi, which is answered by Caracas, but they do also run a new card that I can't put my finger on. Honestly, I'm pretty happy to pay for both of the... Maybe not both. Maybe because the Minsk is my way to win that I don't need it, but the Minsk attacks for 4, puts them down, and then 7 the following turn. 4, 7, Knight comes down, it's a 4/4. Urabrask, that's it, thank you very much. I think I'm happy to put the Knight back because we also have Green Suns to find it if we really want. So I will pay for this. And just hope we get another turn. We sadly don't have a Green Suns target like Collector Oof in the main deck. Alright. Here we go. 2 3-mana spells. They have 1 red floating. Do they have Rite of Flame? Do they have a Lotus Petal? Oh, wow, that's a huge untap there. Because now we get to dig for Wasteland or Crop Rotation as well to take out this Ancient Tomb. No. But I do want to shuffle. So let's go put these 2 back. And then I might even... I can even... Green Suns... here to then attack with Boo and then throw Boo to draw 4 more cards and hopefully draw into either Wasteland or Karakas, which we can then use for the Mox, and at worst case we get to hold up Karakas and Swords against the Burgi. Attack first. We've shuffled the deck. Sack this. Target them. Draw 4. Nice. There we go. Wasteland this. And then I think here we just want to... They're at 6. So Reclaimer and Minsk is lethal, which is nice. Even just Reclaimer and then throw. So I think here I'm happy just to pass with Swords and Karakas open. No mana floating. Yeah, nice. Okay, so this is a deck where they're obviously quite fast. So cards like Force of Vigor are great. Defense Grid is actually very good against us. We want these, of course. We want the Surgicals. We want the Deafening Silence. What don't we want? We don't want the Realm. The Ramanap's a little bit of overkill. I'd probably rather the Endurance. Endurance not great, but there are times where you can throw off their mana with Rite of Flame. You obviously can't hit Echo, but it's also just a threat that can come in at instant speed at the end step, which is kind of nice. We do want the Prismatic Endings for Deafening Silence. The Safekeeper can come out, I think. Safekeeper only really protects Collector Oof against something like Gutshot, but we do have Deafening Silence for that as well. I can go down on probably like a Sajiri step. The Swords are really good. The Prismatic Endings are really good. Obviously, the Moxen are really good, even with the Collector Oof. It's a case of if Oof is on the board and Mox is on the board, it's just doing a lot more for our opponents. We can bottom the libraries as well. Maybe the Endurances aren't needed. Just go to like 1 Minsk and then potentially 1 Knight. I don't mind this. I like knowing that there is a Minsk in the deck. Really want Deafening Silence in the opener. Surgical doesn't do a whole lot. And there it is. We also have a turn 2 or turn 1 Prismatic Ending potentially. This hand's just a pretty good keep. It's just a case of, do we get a turn? The tough thing as well is we might not even get this hand for our first turn. Our opponent might Echo and then not go off, and we might actually just get a hand that doesn't actually do a whole lot. So we'll see how that ends up. But what we're looking at is probably Plateau into Deafening Silence. They went to 6. Wow, we get a turn. Oof, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I also get the option here for Mox into Green Suns for Dryad Arbor, land Deafening Silence, and then if we top deck a land, we get to just play Minsk, which I actually really like. So let's go Mox. Pitch the Taiga. Green Suns. Plateau. Deafening Silence, pass. Like, even now, if the turn is Ruby Medallion, we have the Prismatic. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we get the 5-0, which is really nice. Haven't trophied in a little while, so that feels really good. Nice. Obviously, Deafening Silence there, just a real kick in the guts, because without something like blue, you don't have the way to get some sort of bounce. But hey, really cool to 5-0. That feels awesome. Even if it's just a league to some people, I love getting a little trophy, because I'm definitely I feel like I'm a big 4-1 player, and it's just little errors that all add up that stops me from getting there. So very cool. Yay to me. Yeah, that's very cool. I'm really happy with that. And I think one thing I did want to work on in this league and stream was talking more about my plays before I make them, because one of my biggest issues with playing online is making the play as I talk, finishing the play while still talking, and then finding out that actually, hey, there was something else to do. So yeah, I think I did that a little bit better tonight. Probably still some room to tweak, but really cool to get the 5-0 with Naya. A good mix of decks as well. It was Ruby Storm, Rug Delver, Painter, Mono Red, Black Red Reanimator, and then Black Blue Reanimator. So that was very cool. A huge thank you to you guys for watching. It's nearly midnight, so it's gonna be bed for me, but a big thank you to everyone who came in and watched. A big thank you to those who are active in chat as well. I very much appreciate it. To the new followers and the new subs, a huge thank you as well. Very much appreciate that. I do have some new content coming out in the Green Sun Zenith, which is very good. I've just been caught up with life and work, but got a cool breakdown of SCG Baltimore, where of course Harry Hackett, also known as Harry1232, and Mark Strassman, also known as Strass Daddy, both came top 16, I believe. Harry made top 8 and Mark made 11th, which is very cool. So kind of dissecting their lists, which they've obviously worked really hard on and done really well with them. And then also looking at some Naya Depths lists, which did make the cut, which is pretty cool. So yeah, very cool to get the trophy. I'm going to see who else is streaming and send you all over there. It looks like True Hero is playing. I also do love Gabe, so I'm going to send you over there. But hey, a big thank you once again. I'll catch you next time. To those still watching on YouTube, a huge thank you to you, the people who support me in more ways than one. Yeah, we'll catch you next time. Enjoy your weeks ahead. Stay safe, and I'll be back on Thursday night. Cheers.